Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to this very special edition. I have Dr. Erin Hudson with me, and you're in for a huge, huge treat. So, first off, I must ask you, would you like me to call you Dr. Erin Hudson? Would you like me to call you Erin? What do you want me to call you?
Fine. Aaron is absolutely fine.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you, Erin. Erin and I just met not long ago, and she blew me out of the water. And as you guys know, I'm a little heavy. It's hard to blow me out of the water. But anyways, the point is, um, I wanted to let you know that Erin had started as a chiropractor. So she went from adjusting spines to acquiring 25.
Yes, ma'am.
But I also heard that you were once 12 days away from losing 150 and you almost gave up.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes.
Path is not like just a regular little path. Yours is something else. So I want to start just I'm going to kind of jump all over the place. So just bear with me. I'd like you to tell us about the 55K in 10 minutes miracle.
That's so awesome. Well, great. I'd love to do that. But first, I would be remiss if I didn't say hi to your guests. Guys, it is absolutely an honor to be here. I met Effie, as she said, last weekend at a conference. And let me tell you, I fell in love with her. As a matter of fact, we were sitting at the same table, and every once in a while we'd chime in and say something between the speaker up front. And you know, when you just feel like you've known someone for forever, that is exactly what it was like with Effie. She just is an absolute gem. I'm sure many of you know her very, very well, and it's an absolute honor to be here today. And I hope to bring so much value and you walk away with not just one nugget, not two, but at least three that you can put in play right away so you can elevate your life in every flippin' area. All right.
Thank you, sweetie. It was mutual. We both connected very quickly, and I
Awesome.
feel the same way. And I do feel like I've known you, and that, I have to get to know you even more.
I love it. Okay, so I'm happy to go in about this 55,000. Are we keeping it all on the just the philanthropy side, or where would you
I'm
like
going to
to
be
start?
jumping around. I'm going to
Okay.
jump around. So talk to me about how you raised 55,000 in 10 minutes and
Oh,
called it a miracle. What the heck is going on?
okay. Yes, yes, yes. Well, listen, I'll try and keep it somewhat brief. Philanthropy is near and dear to my heart, and I could talk for forever about it. But in being cautious of time, I'm going to keep this nice and tight. What I will tell you is partnerships will make you or they can break you. And I happened to be at a multifamily event and they were giving me an award. I got called up to the stage for closing on 100 plus doors within 18 months of my multifamily program that I was a part of. They put on this event. There was 1,000 people in the audience and they called me up to give me an award. And when I came up to the stage to get this award, I had a little bit, there was some things that had unfolded prior to that event that kind of had my head not in the game of getting this award, let's just say. Anyhow, I go up to the stage and the MC says, Dr. Hudson, you have got to tell everybody what you did to celebrate the close of this property. And I said to her, listen, tell me more what you're talking about. I don't know. And she said, listen, it was going around like hotcakes in our office. What you did to celebrate, come on, you know, the orphanages. And I said, the giving. And believe it or not, I take my kids. We travel to third world countries like Haiti, Belize, Nicaragua, Mexico, Israel. Why? Because here in the States, we have everything at our foot. Anything that we need, it's at the base of our feet or in our hands. And when you go to a third world country where people have absolutely nothing, it wrecks your heart in the most beautiful of ways. And that's exactly what happened when I took my family and turned them on to this project in Nicaragua. And in Nicaragua, unfortunately, there are mamas that are living in a trash dump. And that is where they are with their little children. And believe it or not, my heart fell for them. And so over this time frame, I had raised enough money, and we had built 12 homes for the single mamas living in the trash dump at $5,500 a piece. And here I am up at the stage, and the MC says, "Tell them what you had been doing." And so I said, "Look, when I closed on this 100+ unit apartment building, it was my first one. I said I was going to build my 13th home." And so I was sharing with all of the 1,000 people in the audience, and I said, honestly, if you ever get a chance to serve, don't turn it down. When you can go outside the country and see what true poverty is, you will literally have a heart that will melt for those that stand in need. And so that's exactly what we did. We actually built that 13th home in celebration for these single mamas. Guys, I'm talking about a 250 square foot cinder block home, not anything that you or I live in. But let me tell you, the level of gratitude with these families, these moms that you're giving homes to, it was enough. It's enough to just bring you to tears. And so here I am on the stage. I'm sharing with the audience that yes, I gave and purchased this 13th home for the single mamas. And let me just tell you, as I was up there on the stage, I began to get tears in my eyes. I started to feel this churning in my belly, and I just could not kick it. And all of the sudden, out of my mouth, I said, I would love to build 2 more homes if I can get 2 people to match me. Let me just tell you, have you ever said something before and you want to kick yourself in the face for saying it because you think, what in the world did I just do? And why did I just say that? That was
The
the
words can
exact,
escape and you can be like,
yes, that was the exact moment I had, because it felt like 10 minutes went by before anybody said anything. And all of the sudden, this gentleman, strapping man from the back of the room says, "I'm in for 5,500. I'll build a home for the single mamas." And this woman in the very front row, she said, "I'm in. I'll build that second home for the single mamas." And then all of the sudden, it was as if people were popping up everywhere, and they're like, "I'm in. I'm in." And I'll never forget getting off that stage. Within 10 minutes, as Effie said, we had raised $55,000 for the single mamas and built 10 homes. And I'll never forget getting off that stage and a woman coming to me, and she said, times have been really tough. I don't have 5,500, but I have 250. And I looked at her, and it was the most
oh,
moment I've ever experienced, where I really took my hand, I put it on her heart, and I said, "You know what the most beautiful thing is? The Lord does not care the amount. It's the desire of the heart. And thank you so much for giving to mamas in need. You are going to bless their socks off." And there you have it. And so,
wow.
such a beautiful day of, here I am at this multifamily event, and we had a moment of philanthropy, of people coming together to serve for a greater cause than themselves. And so there you have it.
I think that is so freaking awesome. So freaking awesome. Instead of allowing everyone to just shower you with, bonuses and recognition,
Yeah.
you're like, wait,
Yes.
to do
Yes.
more. And ending up with that kind of a result, I mean, that you must have gone, I don't know. I don't know if I'd even be able to sleep that night. It's just such a high to know that you actually are going to be able to help even more ladies
Yes.
and babies.
Good.
That is really something else. Okay,
Yeah.
so now I'm going to go a little bit on the more traditional, and I want to know a little bit about your origin.
Okay.
You weren't third world. You instead went to discover third world, which is pretty awesome. But what were you? Talk to me about the beginnings of your life.
Yes. Well, listen, I lived a really interesting life. I was a child of 5. My parents were amazing humans that worked 9 to 5, so busy building somebody else's dream, being robbed by the system. I hate to say it, but they worked 9 to 5s, and that was kind of their life. And believe it or not, I was, as I said, one of 5. So we very much fend for ourselves. And I grew up in a town where the dads worked and the moms were the homemakers that had everything just lavish and perfect for their families, dinner on the table, their houses were pristine. I did not grow up in that house. And let me tell you, number 1, I don't regret it. And number 2, my parents are the most amazing humans that did the best they could with the cards they were dealt. And believe it or not, it was a generational thing. Their parents did the same thing, and their parents did the same thing. So I will tell you one thing: I was put on this earth to break that generational curse and to break them like that you don't have to stay stuck in the 9 to 5. And listen, for all of you out there that have a 9 to 5, I am not knocking you. Not everybody is meant for entrepreneurship. He and I are a little bit different individuals. And so let me go back to that. So with my friends being well taken care of when they come home from school, mom and dad were there, or at least mom was there. I was the little girl that would stay at their house until late at night. And I'm sure when I recollect, I'm sure the parents were like, what in the heck is her problem? Where are her parents? As a matter of fact, there were some nights I got to spend the night at my friend's house.
Wow.
School night, right? And so, listen, I think even over and beyond that, we weren't the family that sat around the dinner table every single night. And we certainly didn't talk about the terms ROI or cash flow or retirement or what are you going to do and be when you grow up. We were just all in survival mode. And across the dinner table would be like, what time's football tomorrow? And the game on Friday night? And did you do good on the hurdles? And it was all wonderful conversation, but it wasn't a retirement, prepare for your future type of conversations. And
Did
Effie,
your mother work?
yeah, she did. That's what I'm saying. She worked very, very hard, as did my father, right? And so I think that at a very, very young age, I really just recall thinking, I feel like I got shafted a little bit because they were so busy with work, work, work that
Mhm.
I remember having so much resentment,
Mm.
not to them, but to the fact that they were so exhausted from all that they would do. And at a very, very young age, Effie, I knew come hell or high water that I was going to be my own boss. I
Good
didn't know
for
what it
you.
was. I wanted to deliver babies. I wanted to be a doctor. I didn't know what it was, but I wanted to run my own show. So
Ooh.
that's kind of how it was when I grew up. And I'm thinking others on here can somewhat relate. I can't
Oh,
be a
yes. Yes, I'm quite sure. A lot of us come from that type of background, or, in my case, from third world. It is what it is. And you just have to, like you say, at a young age, you decide, I'm not going to be like that when I grow up. I'm going to
sure.
be different. So what kind of student were you when you were were you a good student? Were you the one that the teacher said, really?
I love that you said that because listen, I will say clearly you can tell I'm a girl that has a lot of energy. Nothing has shifted from when I was really young to where I am right now. I'm a girl on a mission. There's no mountain too high. I've always kind of had that embodied in me, but I was a little bit of I don't want to say a class clown, but I was a little bit of a disruptor. I was a little chatty Cathy. But let me tell you something. School did not come easy to me. Did not come easy to me at all. I wanted to be outdoors. I wanted to play. I wanted to craft up. It didn't come easy. And so let me tell you, I was that C student, believe it or not. I'm sure when I told my family that I wanted to go to school to become a doctor, they were probably like, oh, goodness. But one thing that I know that my parents know about me is that I have grit to not quit. And I did not care if I went to school to become a doctor, if I was a C student, as long as I could pass. And let me tell you something, I may have been at the bottom of the barrel academically, but you want to know something? For those of you that are out there that feel the same way and can relate, just because we're the C student doesn't mean that we don't have the advantage to go kick ass, take names, and dominate in the marketplace as an entrepreneur. Because the truth is, just because I didn't have the academia, I absolutely have people skills, business skills, and I know how to master business like nobody else's business, right?
There you go.
So
There you
don't
go.
feel discouraged. I was not the A student by any means, but I had a whole lot of discipline and had a lot of determination. And that's just kind of how I've always lived my life. When I want something, I will figure out how I'm going to get it, come hell or
For
high.
you. I think that's awesome. I think that's awesome. And I agree with you that if you are a C student, don't worry on it. I myself had always been like C plus C until I decided when I was up against my husband going to the Harvard Business School, then it mattered. Then I pulled in a 4.0 average without any problem. So the thing is that if that's the one thing you're going to focus on, you could have done that. I know because I was a C plus and I did it.
For sure.
But is that really the thing that, at that moment I was measuring myself against Harvard MBAs, but, it was important to me. But normally I'd say, what's the difference? When, as long as you get the training and you have the heart, that's the important thing.
Amen.
How did you choose chiropractic services, and
Yeah.
talk about your practices?
Yeah. So listen, I love that you're asking this because there's so much to it. Initially, as I said, I wanted to deliver babies. And then there was something beautiful that I love about chiropractic. Number one, I'm an athlete. So I've always played sports and run track and played soccer and cross country and all the things. And chiropractic is such a beautiful way of integrating into your life because here's the thing. There are many people out there that go and will utilize drugs and all the things when something comes up. Now,
Mm.
listen, I am not poo pooing them. There is a time
Mhm.
and there's a place, but we have this beautiful body that has innate intelligence within us, and the body naturally heals beautifully if you give it what it needs. And for those of you that don't know much about chiropractic, it's really about aligning the spine and taking pressure off the nerves and making sure that you're getting good blood flow up into the brain, up into the hands, up into the feet. And as you have proper flow of the nervous system, of the blood flow, your body can function at optimal. I don't know. Raise your hand. Do you want a body that functions optimally?
Yes.
And so here's what I loved. When you treat patients, they notice for the most part effects right away. They can walk in feeling crummy and they'll walk out feeling so much better.
Yeah.
And it wasn't patient A, it wasn't patient B. I got to know every single one of my patients and their family and their kids, right? So it was one of those things where people just appreciated you for the services because you absolutely could make them feel better just like that. Now, at the same time, having chiropractic offices, I have many colleagues that were the smart ones in my class. But
Yeah.
guess what? They didn't make it when it came to opening up an office and being able to be successful with it. Because you can be smart. This is it doesn't matter if it's chiropractic, it doesn't matter if you're the laundromat or whatever kind of business that you're running. If you don't have proper people skills and business acumen, good luck on winning. Because as long as you are even if I'm a C doctor and I still have people skills and all the things, although I do think I'm a pretty badass chiropractor. I've got great skills. But no, you wonder why like trigonometry and biochemistry, you have to have all those things for, to become a doctor. But anyways, I get it. And so here's the thing. If you are savvy with business and you are a visionary, like Effie, I've told you that I am, that I'm strategic and synergistic and all the things, you get crafty when it comes to having a practice and figuring out what is it that you can offer that nobody else has.
Nice.
Let me tell you what I had and what made my practices so successful. Plural practices, it's possible. What I did is you may have seen or heard of before, reflexology massages where they rub your hands and your feet and it's like $25. You come in. Well, I actually initially bought one of those practices, knowing darn well that I was going to integrate myself into the practice. And if I could have folks come in with their insurance, that I could actually treat them to a massage first before they had their chiropractic adjustment. Twofold,
Nice.
that would help the patient to get their body nice and warm and make my job easier. But then it would also create retention because who doesn't love a massage?
Right.
Touch is powerful, powerful, powerful. So, with that being said, I actually offered that in my practice and word got out and it spread like wildfire. So within 6 months, I actually ended up opening up my second office. And wild to think it was only 6 miles away from the initial office. So, what was that, guys? It's like taking a fishing pole, baiting the hook, casting it out and throwing it, and reeling those puppies back in because I had something that was so unique and so different that nobody else offered. I
Good
did
for you.
the insurance company for the massage because it was not allowed. It was considered my loss leader. And amateurs would say, my gosh, you're paying to have, well, guess what? I only had to pay the therapist $10 for an hour,
Right.
right? One would say it was a loss leader, but it wasn't. It was a matter of that's what brought in the
That's fantastic.
be successful.
Very nice. Very nice indeed. And how long did you do that before you got into the real estate arena? Because I think that was your next step, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I was in practice for 10 years. I 10 years from 2000. Well, let's see. I was practicing from 2003 to 2017. So what is that? I guess
A little bit more.
Yeah, so
Right.
13 years, but that was also included my residency and so forth. But yes, that was my training ground, guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
And why did you get into real estate? How did that catch your interest? And what was your first entry?
Yeah. So let me tell you, I think the thing that was really interesting is many of my colleagues and my family would say, "Holy smokes, you're so successful. This is amazing. Like all of these new clients and patients coming in and so on and so forth." But I noticed something was happening. Number one, my colleagues would say, "You're so blessed. Your offices are thriving and you have all out of network PPO patients." Just to
Mhm.
educate really quick, you have HMO that pays maybe $10 for a chiropractic adjustment. Then you have in-network PPO, which maybe pays $60. And then you have out-of-network PPO, and that will pay you maybe 120 bucks. So, do you think it's better for me to work harder or smarter?
Oh, yeah,
So,
we
I
know the answer.
went to out of network, which is a smaller trough of people, but they paid more, which in turn allowed for me to give the massage to them to get treated, right? Well,
Uh-huh.
what would happen was all of the sudden the reimbursements started to trickle down and not be as fruitful, just
Uh-huh.
slowly. And then what was the next thing? It was a trickle effect, guys. Then all of a sudden in California, the minimum wage went from $10 to $15. And then the icing on the cake was that my kids had to be vaccinated in order to go to school and not just one vaccination. They had to be fully vaccinated to go into the next year of school. And I took that as my wake up call. And all of the sudden, I said, there's got to be another way. And I ended up moving in 2017. But let me backtrack to 2015. As those reimbursements started to get less and less and
Mhm.
less,
Yeah.
it opened up a door for me to say, "You know what? I really would like to explore real estate." And long story short, ended up I was in California and house price was $1 million for a 1950 home with 1,500 square feet. And I found out after searching markets that I could actually pick up homes for 30 to $40,000. Where? In the great state of Indiana.
Yeah.
And
Not
so
California.
yeah, so I started buying homes in Indiana and I strategically and creatively acquired them. And within 2 years, I had 26 single family rental properties, and that gave me my mailbox money, girl. And I
Very
knew I
nice.
was on to something, Miss Effie.
Very nice. I read that you once called the title company and that you said something like, I'm not the smartest tool in the shed. I need to know what is a double close? How does it work? And then you freaking went and did it. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. Honestly, I'm not saying this is the way to go, but I was a chick on a mission that will never give up and wants to figure out how to make things happen, right? And I knew there was something called a double close, but I didn't know all about it. So where can I get straight to the horse's mouth? Because there wasn't Chat GPT at that time.
No.
So I literally knew I wanted to go to Indiana. So I thought, well, I'm going to just call one of the title companies in Indiana and play coy and be cool, calm, collected. And sure enough, I was the chick that literally got on the phone and they answered. And she said her name was Sally. And I said, "Sally, how's your day going?" "My day is going great." "Awesome. I just have a question for you." "Yes, Erin, what can I do for you?" "Is there any chance that you could help a sister out?" "Well, yes. Well, what do you need?" I said, "Listen, I heard there's something called a double close. Can you just walk me through how that works?" "Yes. So what happens is you take a contract and the person that's selling it to you, they're the A person, you're the B person." "Okay, A person, B person." "Okay, then you have another buyer that's, let's call it Effie. She's going to be the C person." "Okay, so Effie is the C person. Okay, so the closing between your A and B is on June 1st." "Okay, June 1st. And your closing between your B and your C person is June 1st. "Okay, June 1st. Okay, now what?" "Okay, well, when the C person comes to bring the $50,000, it's going to go into title the same day of your close. And then your seller's charging $40,000. "Okay, so are you telling me I don't have to bring any money to the table?" "No, you don't have to bring any money." "Okay, but hold on, how?" "Okay, you know that C person, Effie?" "Yeah, yeah, yeah." "Okay, she's going to bring the $50,000 and you owe the seller 40,000. So when she puts her 50,000 in, your seller is going to get paid the 40." "Okay, okay." "And then wait, what happens with that other 10?" "And that other 10, we're going to wire it to you as soon as everything closed." "So you're telling me, Sally, I'm going to make $10,000 and in Indiana, I don't have to put a dollar in there and you can make it all happen on the same day?" Yes, ma'am. Holy smokes. Listen, Sally, you know what I have to tell you? Yes, I'm going to bring you so much business, you're not going to know what to do with it. Get ready. Okay, Miss Erin, I look forward to working with you. Thank you. Thank you for helping a sister out, Sally. That is how it went. I swear
Wow.
to God, that is exactly how it went.
Wow.
Taking ferocious notes. I didn't even think to record it on my phone. I don't think you even could have done that. I was just telling her to slow down and just thanking her as she's
Wow.
through this thing. And when I was done, I already knew exactly what I was going to do and where I was going to go.
All right. Well, there you go. Don't wait. Get started. Come on. Bottom line is, Erin is damn gorgeous. There's no doubt about that. And she's very personable. But, they couldn't see that through the phone. The voice they could hear.
By the way, Effie, I would be remiss if I didn't say I'm available for the right guy. I am taking resumes
That's right. That's right. For the right person.
for the
Sure.
right person. Actually,
Oh,
send
my
a
God.
resume to Effie. She will vet you.
Yeah, that's right. I'll be doing the screening. That's hysterical. That's
See
hysterical.
it? Effie and I are having such a good time here.
It is fun. It's
It
so
up
much fun.
and adding value, right?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, so now I'm skipping a little bit in saying that I know that you had gotten into the multifamily a little bit. You raised the 55 to help the mamas in that in Nicaragua, which is really cool. And I'd like you to talk to us a little bit about your other um license that you have, because during COVID, you went and got us a second license, or a license, I should say. Because I don't think, are you a licensed realtor?
No?
Yeah. So it was your first license. Talk about why in COVID you went and got an insurance license. Explain that.
Okay, well, listen, the truth is, I did not go get it in COVID. I actually went and got it in 2008 because
Oh,
my parents had insurance that they were getting. And I said, I'm not quite sure. I'm a researcher. I like to at least know that my parents are not getting screwed. And I wanted to make sure everything was on the up and up. And so I said, you know what? Before you make that move, can you just please wait? Because I want to go get my insurance license. I want to go direct with that company. And I want to learn the ins and outs to make sure you are properly being set up. And they thought that
nice.
that was the sweetest thing. And 2008, I loved it. I fell in love with insurance. And what I really fell in love with was being able to help inform families how they could have better financial freedom in a very safe way without paying a whole lot in management fees and all of these other things. Now, I've had my license. And then all of a sudden I went chiropractic. Why? Because I'm a girl on a mission that likes to have multiple irons in
Right.
the fire. And as a matter of fact, to all of you, but I'm going to speak to you ladies first. Get yourself equipped. Do not just have one thing. Because God forbid, when COVID happens, the market crashes, a divorce happens, you want to be able to have other things to fall back on. And that is what gives a woman confidence. They can stand up, hold their own. And Effie is a great example of just that. Her
Yep.
husband left her, and the girl is a badass V. I'll keep it.
I filed for the divorce.
There you go. I
But,
apologize. But
you know,
that's
but
even
it was,
bolder. That's even bolder. That means
yeah.
that she can handle it. So, anyhow, in COVID, I went and I reprised and literally started doing a whole lot more of that because everything started shutting down. And I thought, okay, well, I really want to get people locked and loaded with their own whole life policies. Why? Because at that time, I was already big time in the multifamily space and I knew there was another way. I just told you it's important to have multiple income streams. And here's the thing. With whole life insurance, there's something beautiful that you're able to do. And by the way, they're not all created equal.
No, no, they're not. And let's not, we won't say much about IU.
No.
Sorry.
Did you just see Effie? She just literally spit on her own floor. But here's the beautiful thing. People think when they get life insurance that it's really about the death benefit. And Effie and I will both tell you it is not about
Right.
the death benefit.
Right.
If it's illustrated and created properly, what the power is that you're going to you're going to have two vectors in which you're earning. And let me just tell you why. When you take your money and you contribute it into your whole life policy with the kind that we create, you actually have access in the next 7 days to pull out a good amount of it. And what are you going to do when you pull it out? Well, if you're like Effie, you're going to either go lend it to somebody else at a higher rate, or you're going to go find a fix and flip, or you're going to do some type of real estate transaction. And I did with mine. I went and invested 125,000 into a 278 unit apartment building that our company purchases apartment buildings. So I put it there. The beauty is there are only two places in which you can put your money, pay taxes on the seed and not the harvest. The first is your Roth IRA, but too bad we're capped out at roughly 6,500 these days. But with your whole life insurance policy, you can shove a whole lot in there and you can pull out to take loans against it tax free.
Mhm.
And here's the best part. You can pass that on to your children. When you pass away, that money goes
Yep.
tax free to your
Yep.
loved ones or to a nonprofit or whatever you desire. So, anyways, I didn't want to go off on a tangent, but it is most powerful. And if you want to grow your wealth, that is the best way to do it. That's what the JP Morgans are doing, the
Yep.
Chases, the Rockefellers,
Yep.
all of the wealthy people. This is what they've been doing for many, many years. And so Effie and I just like to equip others to get in the game, rise up and create financial freedom and leave a legacy.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, I want you to talk a little bit about Christy's story.
What?
Christy. Talk about Christy's story. I understand that you knew someone named Christy who lost her job and was homeless.
Christy, Christy,
She
Christy.
couldn't afford groceries and almost had her car repossessed.
My God, Christy, you see, this is what happens when you do so much philanthropy work. They all start to meld, and you're like, wait a minute, which one was that? Hold on, let me see. Y'all, listen, you have got to get your butt into sowing good seed in the universe.
Right.
And especially if you have a company, getting a philanthropic arm. Because guess what? People want to work with those that have a good heart and desire to
Right.
sow goodness into the world. Now, let me tell you, our company, Quattro Capital, by the way, let me tell you this much. I told you that story about those givers that helped raise the money and the fire starter from the back of the room. Hold
Yep.
on a second. Guess who was my partner and co-founded Quattro Capital? The fire starter from the back of the room. And
Yes.
the chick
Yes.
stood to her feet in the front of the room became my partner at Quattro Capital.
Are
And
you
what
serious?
Yes, what
I
I will
love
you is that when you bring good souls together that come for not a manipulative reason, but for the desires of our heart matching up, impact can't help but to be the forefront. And so I will tell you, it's all about linking up with amazing people that have hearts of gold to help change the world one person at a time. And guess what? Impact, we lead with impact, but the byproduct is making incredible, incredible money. Naturally, it's the overspill.
I
The
agree. It's the giving that has the money come back.
100%.
If you're hoarding, nothing's coming into you.
So if you have a company, you best have a charitable arm. That is my message for you today. That's one of the nuggets because it will bless you abundantly. Personally, it's kind of like when you at Christmas time, the giver is the one that gets more rewarded, the one that receives, right?
Yep.
Anyhow, Christy, this is such a beautiful story. She actually found an apartment building for Quattro Capital. And we said, we vetted it out. She vetted it out. We wanted to move forward with it. We knew that she was having a rough time just in life. And we ended up closing on this apartment building. And honest to God, we've done so much giving. I think it was $180,000 that she got in an acquisition fee. I shouldn't
Wow.
say it out loud. It was over $100,000 that she got as an acquisition fee. And she was able to get her feet back on the ground and purchase a home and get a car, and she was going through the most tragic of times, fall aparts with family and all the things. And it was just such a beautiful way to bless a good soul. And that's what we got to do. So I'm telling you, Quattro Capital, our firm, I want to be the chick that shouts from the mountaintop. Guess what we did this week? Guess what we did this week? But my team is like, look, we don't want accolades. And I'm like, but hold on a second, because we gave $50,000 to the vets for housing and we got this award. And I said, oh my gosh, I want to share it on social media. And they said, no, no, no. Their perspective is different. It's to each their own. They don't want accolades. I, on the other hand, want to put it out there, not because I want you to tell me I'm great and this and that and I'm so cool. None of that. It's because I want to cheer other
Yeah.
people
You
on
want to show what
about the
can be
importance
done. Yep.
of what we can do when we band together to sow goodness into the world. And
Yep.
that's what it was about. So I'm telling you, I'm speaking ferociously from here on out about
Yep.
everything I do, hoping I can get others to band together with me because one is awesome, but one plus one sets, I like to say, 1,000 eagles to flight. So why
Oh, that's
not?
beautiful. Synergy, synergy,
Yes,
man. Total
yes,
synergy.
yes.
Okay, so I'm curious to know what kind of advice would you give to someone who is heading in the way that you are? Um, what advice would you give them? And what does your day look like? Like, talk to me a little bit about time.
So I'll happily talk about time, but you have to go back and tell me what advice that I would give them if they were at what point in my life.
Well, I'm just wondering, they're looking. You've accomplished so much, and guys, we're actually touching on less than half of what she's
We
doing.
might have to do a part two.
Yes, I think we probably will because there have been some really incredible things that we haven't touched upon. And, the marathon thing is a huge part of it, because, oh my God, I almost fainted when I saw your foot. I'm just thinking, um, what enables you to do as much as you are doing? You're
Oh,
obviously very driven. You're obviously very energetic. And you don't, I'm sure that you've been slapped down some, but I don't think that you're the kind that stays down.
sure.
So, what kind of words of advice do you give to people who
Okay.
are looking to say, okay, how do I get going? What should I be doing? What's important?
Such a great question and so incredibly powerful. Let me tell you why. How you start your day dictates the trajectory of the remaining portion of it. So I don't know about you, but I'm going to tell you what I do. And I want to say I'm pretty like strict on it. I don't deviate too far from it. So I wake up in the
Thank you.
morning. I lay in my bed first and I do something. There's a gentleman by the name of Wim Hof, and it's breathing techniques and exercise for 10 minutes. And I don't want to get into too much detail on it, but here's the thing. After the age of 35, 95% of people do not ever raise their heart rate to like they did in the younger years of a sprint, which means think about older people. How do they breathe? Very shallow, just a little bit. It is so healthy for us to get air in the lungs at the very top and all the way to the bottom. You want to get all the way to the apex of the lungs, and it's rare that it happens. So I want longevity. So I do that. Number two, what do? I get out of my bed and I make it. I make my bed, I put my pillows on. Number three, I walk into my closet and I put on my workout clothes. It is an absolute non negotiable. I put on my workout clothes. I come straight into my office. I grab out my book, my thankfuls, and you can see it here. I write down 5 thankfuls every single day.
That's
Why?
beautiful.
Because the day starts with gratitude. And if you have gratitude in your heart, how can you be upset and how can you let it go in a negative direction? Okay. And then after I'm done with that, I may be drinking some of my pre workout before I go to the gym. And then I head my butt to the gym and I'll either run there with my dog and double down so I can get the dog taken care of. I will run and pick up my mail and I go to the gym and I get my flex in and then I come back, take a shower, and it's game on. Let me tell you, that first portion of the day can all happen by 7:30 a.m., which means you are just getting started at your day when most people are waking up at 8 o'clock and they're just getting started.
So what time do you wake up?
Yeah, 5:30 is my sweet spot. Sometimes I'll slip till 6, but 5:30 is my favorite time. I like to have silence in my house by myself. I have 5 kids, right? I have a couple
You
that
have children yourself?
I do.
Cool.
So I want to make sure that that is done. Now, let me give you something applicable for your day to day. If you're in the realm of real estate or business in general, okay, I'm going to give you a couple awesome takeaways. Try that on for size in the morning time. It's amazing. Okay. And then let me know, drop me a comment, find me on social, send me an email. I want to know how it's working out for you. Because if you commit and you do that for 2 weeks straight, you will not even recognize yourself in most cases. Okay. Now, in the office, I have calls that I'm on all day long. Why? Because I actually am the director of equity relations for my firm, and I raise millions and millions of dollars. I've raised together roughly $80 million in the last 5 years.
Wow.
It's so much fun when you become a solution to somebody who is looking to have their need filled. meaning I learn more about people and I ask the right questions versus trying to sell them on coming into my deal and why they should invest. I like to find out what makes them tick. What are they looking for their financial future? What keeps them up at night? Okay. It's just a real subtle conversation of getting to know each other. I keep my schedule very tight. It's only 20-minute calls per person because I can't get sucked. I have lives to change, right? But
Love it.
what I will do is when I am on those calls, every single person I talk to, and Effie, I know you'll remember this from last week. What can I do to help you?
Yep.
What do you stand in need of? Those are the things that I ask. My new thing that I'm asking now, which I forgot to ask you last time, Effie, maybe I did. Who do you know that I need to connect with? You've learned about me. I've learned about you. And I hope to give you a connect of somebody that I think might be synergistic for you. But I hope at the same time that you'll connect me with somebody that could be a pivotal person in whatever it is that I'm doing. Because listen, it's about the
Genius.
law of reciprocity. If I
Exactly.
help Effie get what she wants, you're going to help me get what I want. And it's the most beautiful thing. So why not
Yeah.
so good to everybody?
Yep. Especially when you're talking with relatively new people because you're going to be coming from different circles.
Yes.
Very, very nice. Very nice indeed.
Anyways, those are great nuggets. And I'm telling you, it is so fun to be in this space that Effie and I are in. And you get to work with the most incredible souls. We just came back from that event. And let me tell you, it was the Sub 2 event. I'm sure a lot of your listeners are from. And the thing, it was my first time ever being within that type. Usually it's multifamily or something along those lines. If you're considering it, you should jump off the cliff and get in the game. I'm considering it and I'm doing multifamily. But what I loved is the people,
Oh my gosh.
they have a
Oh my
heart for
gosh.
one another. Everybody is doing all different kinds of deals. And here's my favorite part. They are so creative.
Totally. Gotta
Right,
be.
and how they're putting the money together and the
Yep.
deals, like, it is more creative than even you can get in multifamily, for sure, and so I'm sold, and so, Effie, it was an absolute pleasure being around you and with your people.
Oh, are
Yeah.
you kidding? I felt like I totally lucked out where I was sitting and who I got to meet. And
Yes.
a lot of times it is who you meet. And, and then you don't need to worry about the how. Just it's the
Yes.
who, not the how.
Yes.
So definitely agree with that. Guys, check out her socials. You're on Instagram and on YouTube, aren't you?
I'm on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and I just started TikTok, so
Oh,
who knows?
all right. TikTok. Let's go. Go
Right
back.
with what you said, Effie. You guys, if you're looking for a great book to read, it's called Who Not How by Dan Sullivan. It literally, the whole premise of the book is we all have goals and places that we want to get in life. We do not need to do every single portion of that to get us to the goal. It's about linking up with the right partners that know how. And so it's finding the right who that knows how and not getting caught up on the how because that's not your responsibility. Let the who's do the how and
Yep.
help get you to that goal much quicker.
Yeah, just like when you reached out to Sal,
Yes.
she was the right who, and she told you how. She made it so easy.
Yes.
So it wasn't really getting hung up on the how. It was getting someone who can tell you, who's the right person that can tell you that.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
indeed.
absolutely. Well, I can guarantee you we are under some time constraint. So I can guarantee you that Erin will be back.
And listen, I want to tell you truthfully, if I can help any one of you listening on this call, I would be more than happy to take 15 minutes of my time to help redirect you, give you any advice, and connect you with perhaps someone that you're really in need of connecting with. Because at the end of the day, we are here on this earth to help make each and every one of us better humans. And if we can connect and help solve problems for other people, guess what that does? That helps you
It
win at the
fills
end.
your heart. It
It's
helps so many. It comes back. Okay, don't get me
wonderful.
started. Don't
Yes.
get me started.
Right? It was so nice getting to be on here. I look forward to part 2. Effie, you are
Yep.
the best. I love you so much,
Thank you.
sister.
Thank you. And
We're
I will let you guys know when part 2 is. It won't be too far down the road. And watch for her. She'll probably be an owner's club, but also sub 2. Anyhow, want to say
Take
thank you
care.
to everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.